DivaSpeaks Relationships Podcast is the hottest, grown, and sexy relationship conversation piece out of the Queen City. No relationship matter is off limits. Sex, marriage, love, betrayal, dating, side pieces, adultery, religion, and finances are all a part of the discussion because your relationship matters. Now, here's your host, the Diva, Angela Porto-Real.
DivaSpeaks Podcast is the premier relationship podcast that explicitly deals with relationship matters from a woman's point of view. No subject is off limits. Relationship challenges, sex, intimacy, dating, infidelity, finances, heartbreak, and situationships are all a part of the discussion. Your relationship matters.
Welcome to DivaSpeaks Relationships Podcast. Welcome to the show. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is a gorgeous Sunday morning in the Queen City. And I hope that all who are under the sound of my voice, whenever you listen to this podcast, it is my hope, it is my prayer that you are blessed and in good spirits. Okay? Yes, that is what I pray and I want for all of you guys. Yes. So again, happy Sunday. My name is Angela Porto-Real. I am the diva of DivaSpeaks Relationships Podcast, DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show, and DivaSpeaks Relationships Ministry. I'm super excited to be here with you guys on this Sunday morning. I know that I had to postpone this show a couple of times, but my scheduling, what I had previously planned, just wasn't working out with me being able to come and talk to you guys on the podcast. So my apologies for having to postpone the conversation. However, I'm trying to make it worth it today. So when you tune in to this brand new episode of DivaSpeaks Relationship Podcast, I want you to be encouraged and I want you to know that everything happens at its appointed time. Nothing just happens. You didn't miss a thing because we were supposed to fellowship on this Sunday morning, So listen up. I've got news, people. I've got news, and I want you to know that it has not all been in vain with me having to constantly reschedule the Sunday morning podcast because I look forward to it too. But listen, so DivaSpeaks Relationships is on Roku. For those of you who have been my loyal supporters, you already know I'm over. The show is spread across several different Roku channels. But the Diva has her own Roku channel now. So I would plead with you to support the DivaSpeaks Relationships channel on YouTube. If you have a Roku, oh Lord, I said YouTube. Lord, I meant Roku, but they rhyme, okay? DivaSpeaks Relationships Channel to your Roku Television. Don't search for my name. I had a cousin look me up the other day. She was like, cousin, I was looking for you on Roku and I couldn't find you. Like, duh, cousin. It's under the brand name. So anyway, guys, add DivaSpeaks Relationships channel to your Roku television. In addition to having my own channel on Roku, you can also find DivaSpeaks Relationships Talk Show and Ministry on the Access 21 channel, Kingdom Purpose TV. I believe my ministry is going to air at 1 p.m. today on Kingdom Purpose TV, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find me on the Agape Network. That is my 8 a.m. coffee and conversation edition on the Agape Network. DivaSpeaks Relationships is also on the Now Television Network. I have a few shows still on the Empowered Living Television Network on Roku as well. And finally, the Diva is on the Daily Gospel Channel, which my show airs at 5:30 a.m. on Friday mornings on the Daily Gospel Channel network on Roku Roku Television. I know that's a lot. I know it. And listen, I've been spreading myself thin. That is why I found it so necessary to have my own. So eventually, guys, I'm going to do away with all of those channels and all of my content. The ministry and the talk show will be just centrally located on the DivaSpeaks Relationships Channel on Roku. And if God says the same, we're going to be able to increase the territory and be able to add, Apple and Google and Fire Stick, Fire something. Anyway, yeah, that's what we're working on now. In addition to bringing some more relationship content creators to the channel. So I want you to know that I take this relationship business very serious. It is not a game to be played with. And let's talk about what we need to talk about, what you actually came here for. So I'm trying to get myself together. I apologize. Okay, guys. So I know that the title says, How thirsty are you? And how you quench your thirst matters. I know that's what it says, right? Well, after prayerful consideration, and I thought about it, that's more like a Saturday night, Friday night conversation. I don't really feel like that should something, I can't really get into, my vibe, how thirsty are you, how you quench your thirst matters on a Sunday morning. So forgive me, but I'm going to switch it up on you. So we're going to have a conversation. But today we're going to be talking about, because this is all about relationships, okay? Holding on. Holding on. And by the way, hey, Bobby, good morning. I finally peeked over, I went to the left so I could see. Good morning, Bobby. Could you do me a favor, my love? Can you let me know if you can hear me and if the music is drowning me out? Because that has been a problem I have been struggling with. I don't know what's up. I don't know how to work this dad-blasted Mac. Wonderful. And good morning, sweetheart. Good morning. You're the best. I needed you. And you know what? Aren't those the words that we want to hear in our relationships? Okay, I talked about that on the latest episode that I'm going to be dropping this week. Okay, I need you. Wait a minute. Let me pause up, back it back. Okay, I believe that's also in one of the shows that is also available on my channel when it comes to rekindling the intimacy and bringing back the passion in your relationship as it relates to the bedroom, your bedroom activities, and creating an atmosphere of total passion and connecting with one another, being able to take it to another level, things like that. So anyway, I need you. So today's show the title is called Holding On. Again, holding on. So many people that are in relationships, whether that be now, maybe that was yesterday, yesteryear, or maybe you may experience it sometime in the future. Holding on is something that's very difficult to do in the times that we live in. It doesn't seem to be easy to hold on to a relationship when you have entered troubled waters. So again, good morning, everybody that's coming to the show. I want to let you guys know now. Listen, I have the soundboard in front of my Mac so that I can stay focused. So every now and again, I'm going to look over to the left and I can see if you guys are dropping comments. I'm not ignoring you. Oh my God, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to get real focused right now because we need to talk about some things, okay? So I'm not ignoring you. I just need you to know that I'm not watching the screen right now. So ready, set, go. So today's topic is holding on. You know, holding on isn't something that we tell one another when things are good, is it? You know, when it's just effortless to be with that person and things are going really well in the marriage and the home, or when you're just, your committed relationship. Holding on isn't something that we say to one another. Holding on isn't something that you say to a couple who's blissfully happy. Holding on isn't something that you say to two people who seem to have it all together and they just fit like a glove. Things are just wonderful. It's not how it works. Holding on is something that we struggle to accomplish when trouble has visited our home, whether through our own actions or the enemy focused on us, and now we are being attacked. Our relationship is being attacked, and it's just one thing after another. It seems like when you take one step forward, you get hit with something and you're taking 2 steps back. That's what I want to talk about today. So since it's Sunday, I'm going to start it off like this. Spirit of the living God, I come before you this morning briefly, asking you to help me speak words of encouragement to those who are under the sound of my voice. Father God, it is my prayer that anyone who comes to this podcast today, whenever they listen to it, Father, that if they are one of the ones who are experiencing a season of struggle, where trouble has hit, and it don't seem like it's letting up, where the attacks of the enemy have become relentless, almost to the point of oppression. I pray for the words to say, Father, so that they know that the presence of trouble doesn't mean the absence of God. In your Son, Christ Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. So holding on. Holding on. Oh my goodness. Guys, I've been learning a few things since I've taken this journey, since I decided to allow God to do with me as He pleases. Since I've decided to follow something I've been doing since I was a teenager, talking about relationships. I was always the go-to girl in junior high and high school, all throughout my 20s, 30s. And it's just been following me all my life since I can remember. But since I made it official and became DivaSpeaks Relationships, my eyes have been opened to so many different things and so many tricks of the enemy that people aren't really aware of, or they just don't want to acknowledge how the enemy is using them to destroy their relationships, self-sabotage, abandon their families, walk away because it's just too hard, or we're not compatible right now. So, and it's my personal opinion that when your relationship is in trouble, hear me when I say this, you better be careful who you allow to speak to you about your relationship, your marriage, whatever. In one particular season, this person may have been a trusted confidant. But in your season of trouble, when things have begun to fall apart, when it seems like the two of you just can't get it together, when that's not how things have always been, you need to ask yourself, what's going on? What changed? Is this spiritual warfare? Has the enemy found an entry point in my home, in my relationship? And now he's having his way by way of myself or my spouse or my partner. So who you allow to speak to you matter. And before I just really get started, let me just go on this rant, because a lot of you need to hear this. Be aware of this cancel culture. And I know sometimes when we say cancel culture, you guys are thinking of celebrities, right? You're thinking of high profile people, celebrities, people in government, whatever, entertainers. But no, my friends. This cancel culture has penetrated the relationship culture. And the saddest thing to me is women of a particular age on these social media platforms walking away from 20 and 30-year marriages because it doesn't serve their highest good. What the hell is going on? Do we not value our covenants anymore? So because trouble has visited your relationship, you need to go find you something better. Something that doesn't give you any resistance, something that doesn't challenge you. You need something that doesn't require you to fall down on your knees. You need something that keeps you happy all the time. That's a trick of the enemy. That's a trick of the enemy. You know what else I discovered? Listen to this. And I want you guys to think. Seriously, let's have a heart-to-heart real quick. I want you to think. I just came to this revelation within the last 30 days. It may click for some of you may not. I don't know. I want you to watch out for those people that you're venting to. Because a listening ear could also be a running mouth. That's number one. But sometimes people get tired of you in your season. People get tired of hearing about your problems. People will start to get frustrated because you haven't moved on, or your situation has not changed, has not improved, or your season has not shifted. And those people will have a tendency to tell you, or start to plant those seeds in you, in your mind, planting the seeds, right? That you just need to move on. Because if it was of God, if it was meant to be, it would have worked out by now. The devil is a lie. Watch those people. Those are the new soldiers that the enemy is using. So because your season of struggle didn't end within the 3 to 5 business days that they set on top of your relationship problems, right? Because it didn't end in 2 days. Because it didn't resolve itself and you magically improve, or your seasons just magically change and the two of you are now reconnected. Because it didn't happen on your time frame. Now you're telling me, walk away. That's a trick of the enemy, my friends. That's a trick of the enemy. Don't do that. And this is what I struggle with. When did we start placing and demanding time limitations on God? When have we ever been able to tell God, okay, God, you got 30 days to improve my relationship issues, or I'm just going to find me someone else because I deserve better, God. I deserve more than what I'm getting right now. I have prayed to you about this individual. They don't seem to be getting better, God. And you know what? I know what I deserve, God. But you know what? It's not working. So God, you got 30 days and I'm out of here. That's what that sounds like to me. I need you guys to hold on. That's the trick of the enemy. We don't get to tell God how he's going to turn that situation around, how he's going to receive the glory, okay, out of working out all of the toxic traits that have burdened the relationship and brought it to the brink of collapse. No, that's not what we do. Beware of who you vent to. Beware of this cancel culture. Beware of the time limitations that people plant in your head. Couldn't be me. Life is too short. Have you ever heard that before? I'm going to say this. I speculate that people who are so quick to tell you to throw your mate away, throw your your spouse or whatever your relationship situation may be, it's one or two things happening. They don't have a skill set in being able to weather the storm, okay? Or they have a trail of failed relationships in their past because they don't know how to. Some of you need to be told to hold on. Some of you need to be told that you need to pray about whatever is happening. And if things are constantly getting worse, what is it that God is trying to tell you in this season that needs to be corrected or put an end to? The behaviors. What is it? And until God communicates to you, it's time to walk away. That's who you listen to. Not people telling you to walk away from your marriages. They're doing that. Trust me when I tell you that's what's happening. And the gullible people are doing it. Bless their heart. The Bible tells us that if your spouse wants to walk away, then they have every right to. God does not rape us of our will. If that person doesn't want to be with you, they have every right, according to the will that God has given us, to walk out. Consequences come with that. Yes, it does. But we can't force people to stay with us. You got to be careful of those who speak into your life and don't encourage you to trust God in the process. Remember, we walk by faith, not by sight. And we must not lean on to our own understanding. Remember that. That's why prayer keeps you connected. I want you to hold on. I want you to hold on if you are one of the people under the sound of my voice, because there is something great that the enemy has identified in that union, in that divine connection that he wants to destroy. If there wasn't something good about your union, your marriage, or your divine relationship, you wouldn't be under attack. Or, how about this? Some of you are dealing with a weak partner, a weak spouse. And I don't mean that to be insulting. I don't. I'm just trying to communicate that my strengths are not your strengths. My weaknesses are not your weaknesses. And Satan has identified some of the weaknesses in your partner. And that's how he found his way into your relationship. Some of your partners struggle with telling the truth. Some of them struggle with infidelity. Some of them struggle with gambling, with addictions, with alcohol, with a Roman eye. Some of them struggle to honor commitments, whether that is the marriage covenant or being able to fulfill the word that they give other people. If you give a person your word and you don't fulfill it, if you don't keep your promise, that's a weakness. But in any event, the enemy knew that he could get to you by attacking that partner. And most of the time, he don't even realize that they're a tool that the enemy is using to destroy the both of you. And usually when something like that has happened or is happening in your relationship, that is almost a cry, a plea from God. Come talk to me. You come talk to me. Don't worry about what your spouse is doing right now. I need you to focus on me, because I'm going to tell you how you are going to beat this. I just need you not only to hold on to your commitment, your covenant, but hold on to me. But a lot of us get caught up. You get caught up. You hear me? You're perfect. It's a sad thing when you have invested your emotions in your life, your finances, your dreams into a relationship that you can literally watch fall apart right before your very eyes. That is the most painful thing. And remember, DivaSpeaks Relationships is from a woman's perspective. So from a woman's perspective, I can tell you, it is so painful to watch your relationship damn near die in front of you. When you can see what it is, you're no fool because you stay talking to the Heavenly Father. And you know, this is how the enemy works. This is some of the side effects. I want you to hear me out. Hear me out. Because it gets so relentless when they're acting a fool. Okay? They're not listening to you. They're not trying to do right by you or the relationship. Okay? The enemy is almost to the point of, this may be a little extreme, demonic oppression. Because like I said, if it's not one thing, it's another. Before you can wrap your mind around one isolated incident, here comes another one. And you're like, Lord, what's going on? Why me? Why are you allowing me to go through this? What did I do to deserve this? And I get, on one hand, why people want to walk away, because you're like, the pain is so unbearable and it feels almost intentional what they're doing. But who do you serve? Are we always moved by emotion? We can't let emotions overtake us in this season because we are living in the last days. Spiritual warfare is the enemy's way of tearing down and tearing you up. And when he's done it long enough in your relationship, because some of you will eventually start to believe, well, you know what? Maybe God ain't here. Maybe God left. Maybe this wasn't of God. Because surely a God that loved me would not allow me to keep going through this. But that's how the enemy starts to work on you, because you start to doubt. You say, how could God be here with me with all of this mess? But again, the presence of trouble. I can assure you the presence of trouble does not mean the absence of God. You could very well be two wonderful people, okay? Two good people going through some BS. The enemy has found his way into your life and into your home, and he's having his way. That's it, and that's all. But you know, the pit of depression is what you end up experiencing when things don't start turning around, when you don't see any relief. That's one of the number one side effects of being in a season of struggle. Depression hits, and depression isn't something that you can snap your fingers and get out of. Depression is real. Depression drives people to end their life. And I'm not saying they're ending their life over that person, but the enemy found a way to drive you into a state of depression. And if you don't watch it, because he's been so effective in that particular tool, he won't let up. We gotta stay before our Heavenly Father in prayer. Okay? The pit of depression, that's one of the number one side effects of being in a season of struggle. Okay? You're hurting. You're sad all the time. You're crying all the time. You have no appetite. Ooh, you're under attack. This is what that is, okay? You start to feel weak. You don't have any energy. Anybody out there, can you relate to this? Have you ever been in that season, even if that's not where you live right now? Have you ever been so distraught, okay, in a relationship that has failed you or failed, okay, that you literally had no energy to do anything? A trick of the enemy. You have no drive, you have no passion. The things that used to bring you joy, the things that you used to look forward to doing, you no longer do that anymore because you don't want to. You ain't got no energy. I don't feel like it. I know where you are, my friends. I do. Been there, done that. And you know, he starts to make you feel like there's no hope for you. You start to feel hopeless. Where are you, God? Where are you, God? You see me hurting, God. Where are you? You see no light at the end of the tunnel. That's when the enemy wants you to let go. And he starts to whisper things like, God doesn't care about you. she or he, they don't love you. I bet they aren't crying over you. Look at you, sitting over here crying over somebody that's not even thinking about you. Yeah, that's how the enemy works. Your faith is constantly attacked. Your self-esteem starts to take a hit. Then at some point, you start getting angry with God because you're like, I'm yours. I belong to you. I'm a part of the kingdom. I'm yours. I am your child. Why do you allow them to get away with what they're doing to me? They are hurting me. Why won't you stop it? I get emotional thinking about when that season visited my life. Oh, guys, I'm a woman of a particular age. I've been through many things. Jesus. You ever felt like that, guys? Have you ever been so hurt, so torn up on the inside that you're like, God? Let me tell you something. True story. Many, many years ago, I was hurting so bad that I started using my analytics on God. Let me explain what I mean. My pain was so deep, my pain was so intense that I started to talk to God like this. I said, if the Bible tells me that I am made in your image, you are my heavenly Father and I am your child. And I said, right, God? Okay. I'm a mother. I have 2 daughters. My children could never hurt the way that I am hurting, and I don't do anything for them. Why are you letting me hurt like this? You say that you love me, God, but you let me hurt like this. You let them get away with what they're doing to me. You won't stop it. And it's like they are enjoying their life while they get to do everything under the sun to me. How is it that I'm made in your image and you see me hurting and don't stop it? Yeah, I have. I know what it feels like. The beauty of it is, when you start to have those real conversations with God and stop trying to be cute and stop walking on eggshells as if he doesn't already know how you feel, as if he doesn't already know what's stored up in your heart, then he can begin to release you from those feelings. Because God will not be called out, okay? That's what I have learned. He will not be called out. You will not make him out to be a bad father, because he's not. You gotta hold on. There's something good in this for you. But you will never have that testimony if you give up now. If anything about what I have said thus far resonates with you, and you are dealing with some issues in your relationship or your marriage right now, this was meant for you. This was your confirmation to hold on. To hold on in spite of what it looks like. To hold on in spite of what you're looking at with your eyes. Remember, we walk by faith and not by sight, because the enemy, he wants you to see everything that is speaking against what you are believing God for. The enemy wants to make God look like a liar, like he don't care about you. He doesn't. Look at you, sitting over there depressed and crying. You ready to give up, aren't you? And then he starts to push it even further. He pushes even further. It is oppression, okay? He doesn't attack anything. He does not attack anything. It doesn't have something wonderful from the kingdom of God in it. Beware. You know, you can be in that mess for so long, you start to have anxiety. You start to question what your future is going to look like. Because you were so committed to your covenant, you were so committed to this relationship, and, you know, you thought this was going to last for a very, very long time. And what But you're saying now there's no way. It's like, there's no way we can continue like this. And part of you is right. There is no way that you can continue like that, okay? And be in alignment with God's will and purpose for your marriage. You see, it may take this season of struggle. It may take all of this mess to happen, to be exposed, in order for you to tear it all the way down so you can rebuild that foundation that may be needed. You see what I'm saying? So everything has to be exposed in this season, right? So when you get to the next season, that is your rebuilding phase, right? That is your restoration season. That is your makeover series. Now, by the way, I'm not plugging my own show, but right now on my DivaSpeaks Relationships Roku channel, for those of you who missed it, that is what I have been talking about. For those of you who have come out of this season of struggle, who you have got your testimony, you was right there at the brink of collapse, you was right there at the brink of throwing in the towel, you was right there at the brink of filing the divorce papers, but God say, no, wait a minute, hold on. And things began to turn around. Well, the makeover series is addressing some of those areas that you can begin to make over, okay? Give that relationship and that marriage a fresh look, a fresh set of ideas. And I'm going to warn you, I'm not telling you anything that you haven't heard before. My audience is very intelligent, very internally connected. But I'm reminding you of some things that can be done to give that relationship a fresh new look, a fresh feel, and to be able to look at that person that you have come out of that storm with a fresh set of eyes, because there is nothing like looking at the person that you've been to hell and back with a fresh set of eyes and being able to fall in love with them all over again. What that feel like, okay? But you'll never get there if you give up now. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on and renew your faith, renew your hope. You gotta hold on to God no matter what the enemy is telling you, because he's telling you this. If you're experiencing these side effects, unsure of your future, you're depressed, you're angry at God, you're questioning everything about everything right now because you're not trusting nobody, feeling lost. If you feel lost, or you don't know which way to go, you don't know which route to take, you don't know what your journey is going to look like, or even the first step you need to make in that journey. If you're feeling lost, it's a trick of the enemy. It's a side effect of being in a relationship that is under attack. The last side effect, I kind of just talked about it, but I'll say it again. The side effect of being in a troubled relationship too long after you've been praying and you don't see what you're looking for, you tend to start thinking that God has forgotten about you, that he doesn't care. Maybe God left. Maybe this isn't where God wanted me to be. But I'll tell you this, we may have to split ways on where I stand with this. God doesn't abandon the covenant. He's a covenant-keeping God, period. I stand on that. You will hear a lot of people in this cancel culture today tell you that, if God wanted you to be with said person, or God don't want you to be with a person that you ain't happy with, God doesn't want you to be with somebody who's, not compatible. God want me to have his best. But okay, whatever. God is not out here breaking his covenants, okay? That's not how he works. If you choose to walk away from it, that's your business. You broke the covenant, but he's not going to break it for you. Got so many things out here against these good people. A lot of good people going through a lot of bad things right now. And they're thinking that, I guess, in order to save myself, I gotta let you go. I gotta walk away from this. And let me just put that out there. The Bible does talk about separating for a season, if that's what you need. Because sometimes, people, we're all imperfect. Things get bad enough. We both can be bad for each other. Can we have some real conversation? That's right, I said it. We're human. We have to acknowledge things can get so bad and so intense because it takes two people to make a relationship fall by the wayside. You have to be accountable for the things that you have brought to the table in the relationship. Things can get so bad that we can end up tearing each other down and doing more damage by staying together than if we separate for a season. But remember, he says if you do it, don't do it for too long. Can I ask you something? Do you love them? Do you love that person? Can you think of some good moments and some good things? Can you think of where you started from? I need you to stay right there. Stay right there. Can you think of some of those beautiful moments that you shared? And can you think of a time where the two of you were believing God for something? Come on, I need you to think. Don't resist. Think. Think of a time when you and your spouse, or you and your partner, your significant other, you were believing God for something. And the two of you prayed about it because it was something that you either wanted or you needed, right? And I need you to think of when God came through for the both of you. Do you remember how that felt? Do you remember how that felt to have a need, to take it or want, and to take it to God in prayer, the two of you, and then to have God answer that prayer, to watch the manifestation of God's goodness in that relationship for whatever you were believing God for? If you have ever experienced that in your marriage or your relationship, my friends, at bare minimum, that is proof that God is there with you. That is proof that you are a power couple. Now, it's not God's fault if the two of you aren't using your superpowers to be the best couple in the kingdom that you can be. Some of you don't even realize how much power there is with the two of you as a unit. And the enemy sees exactly how powerful you are, how much damage you stand to do and fight the lies that come with the enemy if the two of you stay together. How many lives you are impacting just by being together. It's not about what you can say to other people. Sometimes it's the people that are watching you from afar and watching how powerful the love is between you two, how magnetic you are, how beautiful you look together at the things that God is blessing you to have by way of material possession or just being blessed abundantly as a couple. You are a living testimony to other people that you don't even know is watching you as a unit. But see, Satan is watching and he never lets up. He is on the job, and whenever he focuses his attention on you, he got a legion of demons that he's sending after that relationship. He knows people are watching. He knows the power you possess. He knows how God has favored that relationship and that marriage, and he is out to destroy. You are an enemy of the enemy. Somebody need to get that. So what you gonna do? You just gonna walk away? You gonna give up? You gonna listen to these foolish people who don't really value their covenants and their commitments? So you just gonna let them win? Now, I'm not telling you to stay with nobody who don't even want to be with you. This is not that. I'm talking about people who know that they still love each other, who know they're supposed to be together, but you got so much toxic energy in this marriage and in this relationship that between the two of you, you really don't know how to unpack this mess. It's not that you don't want to do it. You just don't know how. You're like, God, how? After all that has happened, how will this ever? God, how could I ever look at them the same? How could they look at me the same? Look at all the mess that has happened. Wait a minute. People are talking about us, God. How can I be with a person? They've embarrassed me. I I gave them my all and they got me out here looking like a damn fool. How could I ever trust them again, Lord? Look at what they've done to me. How could I ever trust them to never make a fool out of me again? But see, that's the key word, trust. You have to trust God. Because see, when you trust God to do a thing, when you trust God to speak with you, to respond to you, when you know you have that intimate connection with God, He will answer you. You won't have to be wondering very long. You can do this. I'm gonna read you something. I'm going to read you something. I received this in my feed. It's from the Spiritual Inspiration page. I follow it on Facebook. Somebody needs to hear this. God is giving you strength to win this battle. Stay encouraged. I'm going to say it again. God is giving you the strength to win this battle. Stay encouraged. You don't have to abandon your dream. You don't have to abandon your family. You don't have to file the divorce papers just yet. Wait on God. You're going to get everything you need. And let me tell you something. When God tells you to do something, there will be peace with it. Understand that. You see, you won't be struggling with, watch this, I need closure. You won't have the why this, why that, why did this happen, how did this happen? You won't have that no more, because you see, you will have stayed until God provided you with the answer. And anytime God speaks to you and directs you and tells you what to do, there is peace that comes with it. You won't question anything else. You won't need to have no closure. That will be the closure that you need. God gave it to you. You see, when you do things prematurely, it always comes with a lot of confusion and doubt. That is not what we want. We are speaking right through Jesus. Father God, whoever has that heavy heart right now, I pray that you come to them right now. Give them whatever they need in this moment to be able to see and push their way through. I speak restoration over all who are under the sound of my voice, who are going through something right now, God. They have failed to see how intense the enemy is on destroying their relationships. And I pray right now, Father, you allow them to open up their eyes and see it's not time to walk away, it's time to fight. I didn't even get to the good stuff. So I'm reading this book. It's by Dr. Creflo Dollar. It's called The Successful Family. I'm going to read you a little bit of it, and this is going to be the way we're going to leave things today. I didn't even get to what I call the good stuff, but I want you to go to my channel on Roku Television, the DivaSpeaks Relationships Roku Channel. That is a one-stop shop for all my ministry and the talk show, okay? This episode that I'm recording right now is called How to Make Your Man Happy and How to Keep This Man Happy. You know, a few months ago, I did an episode on speaking about when a woman's need has been neglected, when her man isn't paying attention. It's very popular for some reason, but it's the men's turn now. That's right. I'm recording it. I'm taping like literally this weekend. How to keep and make that man happy. So I want you guys to add the DivaSpeaks Roku channel to your Roku television for all of you that have one, okay? But let's end this on a good note. I want you to think about this. Divide and conquer. A happy, successful marriage or relationship does not automatically happen. It must first be constructed in the same way a house is. First, you have to build a strong foundation, then the walls, and finally the roof and other little decorative amenities. Only after it is complete can the owners enjoy their home. Some of you are homeowners. How important is that foundation for that home, for that house? Can you really build a house that's going to last on a shaky or weak foundation? So if you found yourself in a season of struggle, it is time to rebuild your foundation. Once the foundation of a marriage is established on the Word of God and the structure of daily obligations have been set up, the couple can then freely enjoy the relationship. Hold on. Reject this cancel culture. Hold on. Push through to the other side. You want a testimony? Okay, maybe this is your test. Okay, maybe you have been approved to be tested. God wouldn't allow anything to happen to you that would destroy you. And if you're here another day, that means this is another day that you have to master this test. You can have your heart's desire. We always talk about these testimonies and, the relationships of yesteryears and our grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. And how did they have or sustain longevity? And people, to me, are so quick to point out the negatives about, maybe the grandmothers didn't have the opportunities and the education, that we are afforded today. Maybe. I'm not in my grandmother's business like that. I'm not bold enough to be analyzing my grandparents' relationship. I stay out of grown folk business. My grandparents' relationship, my grandparents' marriage, or whatever was going on is not for me to talk about, analyze, or judge. Now, that's where I engage with everybody else stands. But I'll tell you this. One thing that they did understand was being able to stick it out. Again, I'm not promoting abuse. I'm not promoting infidelity. That's BS. We'll talk about that on another show. But I'm saying wait on God. I speak life into your relationships. I speak restoration. I speak encouragement. I speak a healing spirit over your homes and your hearts and, in your relationships. I speak a renewed spirit of wanting to enjoy your mate. I pray that your eyes are open and you begin to look at them in a new way. Not to look at the individual who has caused you so much pain in this season of struggle. I pray that your heart will beat for them and their heart will beat for you in a way that you have never known before. I pray that you will experience a new level of love and romance and a new level of commitment to the covenant, to your relationship. I pray that when you come out of this, not if, but when you come out of this, the two of you will have an unbreakable bond. I pray that this cancel culture does not infiltrate your hearts and your way of thinking, and that God will overtake you with his goodness and you will have the last laugh. Hold on. If you don't hear anything else today that sticks with you, let this be. What do you remember? Hold on. I'm going to let you guys go. I get so emotional. Do you guys hear that sometimes? I literally brought a towel so that if I had to wipe my nose, that you guys wouldn't hear me crying. I want you guys to win. And for those of you who are like, Diva, you know what? It's too late for me. It ain't never too late for you. Whether that is reconnecting with something that now you can see that could have been fixed with a little bit more patience and guidance from God, or whether that would be walking into your new relationship, learning the lessons that you needed to from this previous relationship, whatever that means. I want you to be committed. Because if the enemy was successful in destroying your relationship, whatever vices he was using, whether that is, and let me just address the elephant in the room for some. If infidelity is something that your relationship has struggled with and it damn near tore up your marriage or your relationship, the enemy will use it again. He will use the temptation. He will use temptation to create the storm that he was so effective in before. If lying is something that you struggle with and the enemy knew that this worked before, he will definitely try it again. and drug and alcohol addictions have impacted your relationship negatively, and he has been successful with tearing down your home and your respect for your spouse because of the drug addiction and or abuse, he will take them again. This is why it is so important that you stay connected to people who are positive and speaking life into your relationship and letting you know that you don't have to walk away at the first sign of trouble or because it didn't resolve itself in 3 to 5 business days. This is why you need people like me to be able to tell you, keep going, hold on. But beware, if it worked one time, he knows it might work again. So why not use what was effective before? And also, temptation in and of itself is not a sin. And you're probably like, what girl? Bye. Yeah. Temptation in and of itself is not a sin. Giving in to temptation is. Gotcha. Stay away from it. Whatever your vices are, whatever, whatever thirst you're trying to quench, or whatever thirst that the enemy used on you before, he's going to do it again. Temptation in and of itself is not a sin. It's when you give in to it that you've rocked the boat. You've done damage to the foundation. Beware, but hold on. I hope to see you guys here on the very next Diva Speaks Relationship podcast, the Sunday edition. I hope that I have not disappointed you guys, and I would pray that you would follow me to my Roku channel. Yes, I do have a Roku channel on your actual television. I named all of the shows, the different channels that Diva Speaks Relationship is on, just in case you're just now tuning in. Follow me on my social media pages, and I can. You'll be up to date on where to find me. Go out and do the work. Go out and be blessed. Go out and look for God's goodness in your relationship. Go out and look and see where God has made a difference or impacted the relationship at some point. Stop allowing the enemy to speak to you by way of your friends and confidants or whatever. They may have your best interest at heart, but is it really the right advice for you? Is it the kingdom advice? Is it godly advice? Is it going to work for you or against you? My name is Agape Puerto Real. Love you guys. I hope that you are blessed. Tell somebody to listen to this podcast episode when I put it in distribution. But definitely check out the Roku channel. Within the next 30 minutes, I'm going to have my super soulful Sunday rolling all day today. It'll be all about Diva Speaks Relationships ministry. It's all about faith-filled messages about your relationship. So go check out the Roku channel. I'll have it up and running, the ministry, within 30 minutes. I gotta have my mimosa. Don't you dare judge me. I'm just a girl who loves mimosas. Happy Sunday.
You've been listening to the Diva Speaks Relationships Podcast, the hottest grown and sexy relation conversation piece out of the Queen City, hosted by the Diva and Gala Puerto Real. We hope you enjoyed the show. Follow us on Instagram at DivaSpeaks_official. Let's stay connected.